Hello, welcome to today's video on data analysis with Raymond. In today's video, we'll be looking at how to calculate variance and standard deviation in Excel. So what is variance? Variance simply means the measure of how spread out the values in the dataset are from the mean. So mean or the average is the reference point when it comes to variance. How is the data spread out from the mean is simply variance. Our standard deviation is simply the square root of variance. It also measures how spread out your data is. So that is the meaning of variance and standard deviation. But how do we go about calculating variance and standard deviation in SPSS? But how do you go about calculating variance and standard deviation in Excel? To calculate variance and standard deviation in Excel, for any calculation you want to do in Excel, you always start with equal sign. So when you press equal sign, now you type the function that you want to use for your calculation. So I can type variance, and you can see variance functions are here already. So I double click on variance. Now I select the range of cells that contain the value for this calculation, which is B3 column B102, and all the numbers under age have been selected because I made use of the cell references. Because I made use of the cells reference, so I just press equal sign, and then the variance for student's age have been calculated. So if I want to calculate the variance for student study hours, I use the same method. I just press equal sign, then I press variance. Now I just impute the cell reference, which is C3 through C102, and all the cells under these variables that contain the value are selected already. So I just press equal sign, and my variance for student study hours have been calculated. But instead of doing it for all the variables, once I calculate the variance for the first variable, all I just have to do is to use the autofill function in the cell, and I'll be able to calculate the variance for the other variables. So I just drag the handle like this to cover up for the other variables. I release my hand, and the variance for all other variables have been calculated. That is how easy Excel has made calculation for us. To calculate the standard deviation, remember you start with equal sign. Now you press ST. You can see standard deviation functions are already selected here. So you can just double click on it. Now just put the cell reference, which is B3 through B102, and the cells that contain the value for age, all of them have been selected, and just press enter, and you will see that the standard deviation has been calculated. So to calculate the standard deviation for the other variables, you don't need to go about calculating for each of them again. Just make use of the autofill function in the cell, and you drag it to cover the other variables, and you release your hand, and the standard deviation for the other variables have been calculated easily. So this is how to calculate variance and standard deviation in Excel. If you calculate the standard deviation under student study hours, and then you come to formula bar here, you realize that all the cells that contain student study hours have been highlighted. The same thing when you come to the one under student test scores and you click on formula bar, you realize that all the scores have been highlighted. So this is how to easily calculate variance and standard deviation in Excel. Remember, I told you that standard deviation is the square root of variance. When you look at the values of this variance and standard deviation, you realize the value of the variance is always more than the values of the standard deviation. And the values of the standard deviation are just exactly the square root of the values of the variance. For instance, this is 5 point something and this is 2 point something. The square root of this will give you this. When you come to the last one here, 48 variance, and then standard deviation is 6 point something, you realize that the square root of this value is what we have here as standard deviation. So this is how to calculate variance and standard deviation in Excel. Thank you so much for watching this video on this channel today. If this video has helped you in any way, if it has enhanced your understanding of this topic, we'd like to get your feedback in the comment section. If there is any statistical problem that you are facing, you can drop it in the comment section so that we can do video as fast as possible on it. In this channel, we promise to offer you nothing short of value as far as statistics is concerned. Thank you once again for joining today's video. Help us to like this video, share, comment, and don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell for more videos like this on this channel. See you in our next video.